I don't have very many memories of being a teenager because I was drunk or stoned or high all the time. Tequila, that was my go-to, and break out the cocaine, and one thing led to another. Puking 4 or 5 times, blood, nothing but blood, and basically in a couple days woke up and said, "Hey, man, like you got to smarten up or you're gonna die."
All right, what's going on, everybody? That was tonight's guest, Jame Beaudry. Let's not waste any time. Let's get him in here. What's up, James? Is there anything that you'd like to say tonight before we jump in?
Thanks for having me. Honestly, what you do here is awesome. I know I've watched, I haven't seen them all, but I've seen quite a few.
Awesome. All right, well, let's not waste any time.
This is Hard Knocks Talks.
Okay, tonight's live production is brought to you in part by Prairie Sky Recovery Center, Saskatchewan's only private inpatient addictions treatment center located in Leipzig, Saskatchewan. Stronger Together Canada, peer-led support groups by Mums Stop the Harm, supporting those who struggle with a loved one's drug use or have tragically lost a loved one to drug-related harms. The Elizabeth Fry Society of Saskatchewan, reminding us that supportive living is cheaper than keeping people incarcerated. And the School of Public Health at the University of Saskatchewan, offering their graduate certificate program in substance use health and well-being. To learn more about all our sponsors, check out our merch, or if you want to be solid and buy us a coffee, you can find all of those links in the show notes below. So we heard a little bit about when things got really bad about you just recently there in the intro. Was it a long road for you? Like, did you get started really early on?
I would say, yeah, I had a few friends, family, you know, from probably about 15, 16 that told me, "Hey, you got a drinking problem."
Did you recognize it as a problem, or did you think everyone was crazy?
Yeah, no, lots of people would tell me, "Hey, you know, you can drink that whole bottle of tequila and 12 beers and still be standing, but..."
And that's not okay.
No, exactly, right? And I look at them and go, well, so?
Yeah.
Who cares? Like, you know, because I didn't care.
Did you grow up in it? Like, was it around you when you were as a young kid or what?
100% from a very young age. It's probably about 12 was when I like first started having beers here and there because, you know, again, quote unquote, cool parents, you know, hey, yeah, you want a beer? They would rather me drink with them or have hoots with them than going out and partying with my friend. I mean, granted, at 12, I wasn't going out and partying with friends yet, but it was very accepted because everybody was doing it.
That's a harm reduction strategy, right? Like in that,
100%, right?
That's 101, you know, like our parents want us to be safe. And like, you know, there were times that, you know, you hear like people like I was out dying of alcohol poisoning in a field somewhere because I couldn't drink at home, you know? So it's a tough conversation, and we could easily go down a rabbit hole. So let's just not. Did you start getting into trouble at school? Like, how did you have a lot of friends at school?
Well, I had a lot of friends. We'll just back it up then. We'll just dive into exactly who James Beaudry is without going on for too long, I guess. From a very young age, I'm going to say probably about 10, I was sexually assaulted. Multiple occasions, many times, unfortunately, by a family friend. And I was sitting in class, and our teacher was talking to us about wrong things, being sexually assaulted or touched and stuff like that. And the feeling, I could go back, but I mean, I won't because of how it makes me feel is like, I remember how scared I felt, how disgusted I felt. You know, when you do something wrong and somebody catches you and the back of your brain gets all like warm, we'll say, and you're like, oh no, that was the whole class. Because we're talking about if this is happening to you, you can talk about it and blah, blah. And I did
you know it was wrong? Was it that instant where you realized it was wrong?
Yes. Yeah. Because I never really had questioned it, right? Because it was a family friend, who we'd known for years. So I never really, I trusted him. Yeah. Trusted him. You know, it was, you're not going to harm me. You know, why would you? So, and it took years of therapy for me to find out like, I blame myself. Why did I let this happen to me? And it wasn't me that, I mean, yeah, in theory, yeah, it was, but I mean, it wasn't. I was a kid. I was innocent. I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
He told me that it's okay. This is what happens, and it's okay. Basically, everybody does it, right? So who am I going to listen? And in therapy, I figured out, because I was like, my therapist had asked me many years ago, without like being weird about it, I guess, did you enjoy it? And I said, well, naturally, yeah. I mean,
at the time,
because I didn't know any different.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, there's your answer. Like, it wasn't your fault. It's because somebody you trusted is telling you that, hey, this is okay. And lots of people do this, and it's, but don't tell your parents, because it's our secret.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
did you, when that happened in grade 5 and those conversations took place, where did you go from there? Did you tell anyone then, or?
No, I still didn't. I lived with that uncomfortableness for probably another year or so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it must have been about grade 4 or 5, somewhere in there, because then I'm sure it was grade 6. Back to beer now. Me and my buddy were sitting at my auntie's house with my parents, sitting around. He was a couple years older than me. For whatever reason, my dad didn't want to give me a beer, but he gave him one. So I had a hissy fit. Why does he get a beer and I don't? Went and sat in the car, cried my eyes out. My cousin came in and was like, hey, what's going on, bud? Like, nobody cries over beer, period. And I told her, I said, so-and-so has been doing this to me, and I just lost it. I cried, and I'll just fast forward a little bit through my years of like therapy, is that my therapist used to always ask me, if you saw him right now, what would you do? And my answer was always, I would kill him.
Mm-hmm.
But because of, I would say there's that partial, well, not even partial, there's a blame there that, I'm not a murderer. I would never want to kill anybody, but
resentment is a dangerous thing, man.
Yeah. And then I found out a few years ago, and it was the biggest sigh of relief, is that he passed away. God rest his soul, as weird as that may sound to some people.
Yeah.
I forgive him. Yeah. Some days I don't. Granted, I still have days that I don't.
And I think that I don't think that that's abnormal. I mean, there's things that happened in my past that like, and when I've talked to people about it, who are, at a different place than I am, it's like, so there's going to be days where you just have to forgive again. Like it's just going to come back, and it becomes a tool. So when that happened, like when you told your cousin, like, did that start a big shitstorm, or?
Well, so long story short, the guy who did it to me, he had moved in with us. He was 18, 19, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So naturally he would babysit me, right? And that's when things would happen, because nobody's around. For whatever reason, he had moved out. I don't know why. He moved back in with his parents.
Mm-hmm.
We cut ties. My parents never talked to him anymore. I never talked to him. Like, it was just, well, granted, he still babysat me a few more times, but again, nothing had like come of it, I guess.
Yeah.
And then it was one of our neighbors had told me, hey, did you hear, I'm just going to say his name, that Brendan got into a car accident. And I said, no, I didn't know. Oh, well, I thought you guys were so close. Like, and I'll never forget that moment, because it was like shocking. He said, yeah, he's a vegetable. Like, he got into that bad of a car accident. And this was like, I'm going to say probably a month or two before I had come out and told my parents or told my cousin and so on and so forth. And I remember sitting there looking at him, and obviously we'll just use the thing, his lifeless body. I mean, he was in a wheelchair. It was the first time in my life I learned what karma was. And it's just, and I've lived with it my whole life now, going like, that was karma telling me something. At least to me, I would think, is that like, things like that don't just happen for no reason. At least to me, right? So, I mean, it was that, a little eye-opening, I guess. And then after I told everybody, of course, then it was, I never saw him again, which was probably a good thing, because like lots of really negative thoughts, and I'm glad I've gone past that. Like I said, sometimes they're still there, granted, but now I know he's dead, and I say 100%, God rest his soul. I hope he's in a better place, and for whatever reason, I hope that he knows what he did was wrong.
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
it did. Am I allowed to swear? No, I don't know.
Yeah, if it's meaningful.
It fucked me up
Yeah, man.
big time for many, many years. And it wasn't, I'd say probably when I started getting sober was when I finally really dealt with it. You know,
Yeah.
like I did,
Yeah.
but I didn't really dive into how it made me feel, how it made me as a person until I got sober because, you know,
well, you were just
was blocking it out. I was just
stomping
drunk
it down
all the time. Yeah, exactly.
So you're a musician. Like, cause like I've had musicians on before, right? And they say that they almost developed a toxic relationship with the music culture.
Oh, 100%.
And that fueled their addiction. Was that the case for you?
Just some point. I mean, yes, I'll say yeah. I mean, a little portion, maybe no, but yeah. I mean, in short, 100%, because it was like I couldn't get on stage unless I had 2 or 3 shots of Jack Daniels and 2 or 3 beers or tequila. It was always Jack Daniels, right? Because I play in a rock band, so you got to be a rock and roller, right? You know?
Yeah, everybody knows that.
Yeah, like go on, Iced Tea, come on.
Yeah.
But
White Claw.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, right. But yeah, I mean, it definitely 100% played into it. You know, I remember my dad too. I'm not sure if he was sober at the time or not, but I'd asked him, why do you never come and see me? He goes, because that one time I came and saw you were so drunk, you're laying on the ground and threw the microphone down and singing into the mic and playing guitar at the same time. And now looking back, it was very sloppy, very cool, but very sloppy. You know, it wasn't. Why? Nobody wants to see that. Like,
yeah. So, where did it go from there? Like, you graduated?
Well, no, I didn't.
No.
I still need like 2 courses. I won't say I'll never go back to school, but I have no plans to, at least.
Yeah. So how did you like you left home, right? Like you went out and lived on your own. Was that like a amicable parting when you left home, or did you get kicked out? Or
no, I didn't leave home until, geez, when was that? Basically 8 years ago. So I was home for a little while. My parents, like, so long story short, I guess we'll dive into that. My parents did divorce when I was about 15, 16. And that tore me apart. I mean, because I remember them arguing when I was a kid and like little and arguing, like maybe not necessarily yelling, screaming, but disagreeing for sure.
Yeah.
And I would ask them, are you guys going to divorce? Are you going to divorce? You know? Oh, no. We promise you we won't. Keyword being promise. So for many years, I held that against them. And it was, why did you guys break a promise to me? You know, you promised me you guys wouldn't divorce. I mean, looking back now, I'm like, that's pretty selfish. But I mean, you get it. I'm sure everyone watching gets it. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. If someone says, I promise, I mean, you're gonna take
that holds
later.
Weight,
like,
man. That's your parents. Like, who do you trust more than your parents, especially at a young age? So was there a lot? Like, was there a lot of arguing? Like, did you ever get to witness a healthy relationship at home?
Yeah. I would say when I was a kid, it was. It was. My dad worked nights a lot. My mom worked during the day, right? So I didn't necessarily get to spend a lot of time with my dad because he was always sleeping. And my mom, I did, but it was in the evenings kind of thing, right? So it was, I'm definitely a mama's boy, and that's no blow up my dad. I love my dad to bits as well, but you know, my mama holds my heart. So, but yeah, they split up, and I just took that hard. That's when I was like, hey, you know, let's try mushrooms, let's try cocaine. Let's, you know, I never really went too much further past cocaine because.
I mean, there's not a whole lot further. I mean, there's some things, but like you're up there.
I mean,
you're up there on the ladder.
Yeah, right. But it was I would say the harder things than cocaine that really scared me.
Yeah.
It was like heroin. Oh, do that. And I feel like shit right after. Why would I want that? Doesn't sound fun.
Did you,
you know,
were you in a place where you could have tried it? Like, was it accessible to you?
Oh, I could have. Yeah. I had a lot of not so good friends in my life at that time.
Was your drinking supported then, like the whole time you were home? Or had it become problematic to a place where even your parents were talking to you about it? Like, I'm trying to understand how that dynamic worked.
I don't think my parents really knew how bad it was.
Okay.
You know, because I was like, you know, I'd drink in my room, I'd drink in the backyard, I'd go for a walk and drink, you know, it was because for a short period I lived with my dad in the same house we lived in. Then he moved out and my mom moved in, or it was vice versa. I can't remember. And my dad was drinking pretty heavy at the time too. So that, you know, played into that. When I was living with my dad, it didn't matter how drunk I got because he was just going to get just as drunk as I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were hiding it.
I can more or less, yeah. You know, I would openly drink, but like when I would, I'm getting really buzzed. Okay, stay in your room, watch TV, get more drunk, or do some cocaine.
That's what you said to yourself?
I didn't necessarily do. Yeah. You know, it was just because I was embarrassed, I guess, to some point, or ashamed. Like now, looking back then, I couldn't have told you. I'm probably like just a little nervous that my parents are going to say something. I didn't look at it like that because I was just getting drunk. It's the thing to do. I do it on the weekend. So
but
why does it matter if after school I do it? Yes,
you were going for walks, you were doing this. So there was some level of shame and there was some level of understanding that what you were doing was problematic. It was no longer, I'm a teenager just having fun. Now you're hiding it and you're doing that willfully, correct?
Yeah, no, 100%. And like, that's where I say, like, I never really gave it much thought as to that's what I was doing. Because I didn't necessarily, like, I'll say feel that way or feel ashamed that I was doing it. It was just like I didn't want to hear it from anybody that, why are you drunk at 5 in the afternoon or 5 in the evening, 6 in the evening after school? That makes no sense. Because to me, it did make sense. But again, it was acceptable because I had seen my dad drink my whole life like that. My mom, not so much. She's still not a big drinker. You know, from time to time she does, but
I just want to say thanks to Clean and Sober Nation. Thanks for the super chat. We appreciate the support very much. It's through contributions like that help us keep the train on the track. So thank you so much. And we've got JJ McLoud. He wants to talk about the sash.
JJ says, love the Métis sash down. So happy to see James live.
So Hard Knocks Talks is a Métis owned business. So, and we pay homage to that as best we can. When did things really start to go sideways for you? So it sounds like you knew, like, even if you weren't ready to admit it or not, because like I can relate to what you're saying. Is like, yeah, I sort of hit it, but I didn't even really realize why. Like you maybe didn't want to recognize the guilt or the shame or the whatever. When did you?
It was just the whole I don't have a problem, right?
Yeah, yeah. And if nobody, yeah. So when did you start to notice? When did you start to recognize that this was a problem that may need to be dealt with?
This guy that I knew had opened up this venue. He goes, hey, you know a lot of people. You kind of built yourself a name in the music scene. Would you work with me? Whether you're an announcer at the shows or you're just booking bands, blah blah blah. I said, of course. I love to do that kind of stuff. Basically, long story short, I would get drunk every show we'd put on because I wasn't getting paid at the time. So I told him, well, I'm going to drink on your dime and you're going to pay for the bar tabs because I'm not getting paid for the things I'm doing for you. So let me get drunk and good enough. And I want to say it was 4 or 5 shows in. He sat me down after we had put on the show and gave me a sheet that was basically an ultimatum. You either go to not quite rehab, but you start going to AA or somewhere you can get sober and admit you have a problem, or can't work with you anymore. And I literally will never forget. We were sitting in the Timmy's and I looked at him and I said, "Fuck you. No, I don't have a problem. No,
just
you
like
don't
that.
Tell me because." Yeah, I didn't. Now again, that's at that point, right? So this is years after. Still been drinking lots, and it wasn't a problem. That was what I did. That was what James Beaudry did. You knew if you were coming to see me live. That's what I did. You want to get drunk? Hey, let's have some beer. Because then I hit a point and go, oh, Dad, yeah, you want to drink? Oh man, get a couple. No, I'll pay for it. No problem. It was
okay, yeah.
It was stupid, right? I was very much one of those like. Happy-go-lucky, but then I would hit a point to where I'd be an asshole. I didn't care. My ego would really come out. but I would say it didn't really become a really big problem until I met my fiance 8 years ago.
She drink?
Not anymore.
Like by the time she met
was,
you, she had already stopped?
No. We both went through the partying phase together.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We had a good time.
We did that. Yeah, found it. We definitely did that. Yeah. Hang on now. I just want to touch on something. It's interesting how at the time you didn't realize it. At the time I didn't realize it, and I'm sure many people don't. That when we get challenged like that, when we get an ultimatum like that before we're ready to receive it, perhaps that what's happening is that who we are is being challenged. You know, we don't want to say that this is a problem because then we have to become something other than what we know. Right?
Yeah.
So, and that's really what for me made it so scary. Looking back now, at the time, I didn't have any insight like this, but it became so ingrained in who I was that without it, who am I even? So it feels like an attack. Like when someone says you got to change 100%. Or you can't work. So it's like an insult. Like you don't like who I am.
It's you don't know me, right? Like,
yeah. So you met your fiance. You guys got at it for a while. Did she put the bottle down before you did?
No, actually after. Because so long story short, I lived with my mom for how old am I now? 32. Moved in with her, been sober 6 years, so 26, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Whatever, we'll call it about 26 was when I got sober. So about 2 years before that, I moved out of my mom's house. First time ever. I'd never lived on my own. I never even got to do that.
Was it an amicable move out, or was she sick?
Oh yeah, 100%. It was because I met the love of my life, and 6 months in, we were like, hey, you just got a new house. Rent's a little expensive. I'm always over at your house, so why don't I just move in? I'm here all the time anyway, and we're still in the same house. Believe it or not, which is cool. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, we partied hard. We did that whole scene, and I don't know how much she's gonna love me telling this part, but I mean, we did a bunch of cocaine. We drank all the time. We would party. That was our thing to do. That was how we met. And, a week after we met, actually, me and my band opened for Platinum Blonde. This is for Colin if he's still watching, because he'll laugh. I could say that was about 7 years ago. That inside joke. But, so of course she's like, oh my God, I'm coming to that show. And it was just really weird how it all mingled. So of course it was like, oh, well, we get a bar tab that night because we're the opening band, so come and drink on my dime, which was free. Yeah. And that continued for probably almost a year. But in between there, she, I did get abusive. I was a jerk. I didn't treat her well. Even I feel for, her daughter. It's my stepdaughter, but she's my daughter nonetheless. I've been in her life for basically a year. So, it was, she saw some things too. Mainly just the yelling and screaming when I was really drunk or not drunk, because dry drunks are almost worse than being drunk. Can be. Yeah. Yeah. But and it took her to kick me out, and she called me at work, or she showed up at my work. And I was like, oh, you're here to pick me up. And she goes, no, I'm here to give you a bag with your stuff in it. Just like some clothes, not everything. Because I wasn't leaving forever. She indicated it was just, you need to get out now because you're an asshole and you need to, you're going to go live with your dad. So of course I called my dad, all yelling and screaming, what the hell is this? You agreed to this, blah, blah, blah.
So now it's your dad's fault.
Mad. Yeah, of course. It's my dad's fault that I'm an alcoholic, and I'm not willing to accept that, right?
Yeah. You made me an asshole.
So yeah, exactly, right? Yeah. So I did go there, and I stayed there. Now, I can't remember. I think that was when I first started going to AA, and I remember I cried, and I was so uncomfortable, and I'm sure you've been to meetings too, so you remember your first time, and you're like, oh, okay, I don't belong here,
Well, no, that's true. Yeah.
Right. I mean, you knew that you needed to be there and you should be, but you didn't. Yeah. Well, I mean, not for you, but for me, I wasn't ready to admit that.
Yeah.
I was open and willingly. And that first time he said, "Do you want to speak?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do. I'm an alcoholic." You know, and it took a lot for me to admit that.
Did everyone gasp when you said that?
No, nobody did. It was weird. It was like nobody was surprised. Like, but so I did get sober for a little while there.
When you were going to AA, you said you went to a meeting. Did you continue to go for a while? Like you said, you had a few months there.
I did, yeah.
Did you buy into it? Like, did you start hearing things that made sense, or were you just like there to...
The thing that I still hold on to this day, because I'll be completely transparent, I go to maybe 3 or 4 meetings a year. I've never done the big book. I've started it. I've tried it.
Yeah.
And I won't say, I'll use that age-old excuse, it's just not for me right now.
Yeah.
And I say right now because maybe one day there will be. But I go when I need the meetings, and the one thing I heard that I still believe in to this day is take what you need and leave the rest. And that helped me a lot, because I would hear something and go, "Oh, wow, that's totally how I feel," or "I went through that," and like, you know, you understood things. And then Joe over here would, I can't use names, AA. No, I'm kidding. But you know, like he would say something, and I'd be like, "Oh, okay, well, good for you, Joe." Like,
yeah.
Who cares? You know, like not who cares, but you get my drift.
No,
right?
I get it. Lots of people just go in there and they go in there and they pop off about how many Dr. Peppers they drank that day. You know, I believe that sometimes people can get so detached, like they get so much sobriety under their belt. And maybe this isn't for everyone. Like this comment that I'm about to drop may be controversial, but like it seems like people get detached from what's actually going on in the street, and they pop off about sanding their floor, or they pop off about riding their horse or whatever. And like, I'm like, as a newcomer, I remember I used to hate going to birthday meetings because like everybody would only talk about the one person and how amazing they were. Meanwhile, like I'm on fire, like I'm burning up inside.
Like, I need to talk today.
I need to dump my trauma on you.
Right. I hear that. Well, in now being, you know, almost 6 years in. I'm not quite there. It's next week. I don't even know what day it is.
Yeah,
it's
doesn't matter. Coming up.
Yeah, like in 8 days or some shit. It'll be 6 years, and I can't believe it. But I mean, yeah, you if you would have told me 6 years ago that, hey, bud, in 6 years you're still gonna be sober, I would have laughed at you. Are you kidding me? No way. Although I may not have, because of how I got here. Because that's the most important part to me that I try my best to never, ever forget. Yeah. But that's what I was going to say before you jump into that next one. Sorry.
Okay.
Is that I did go to AA for a few months, went out. I got my drinking down to 1 day a week. I was so proud of myself. So proud. Like pat on the back, bud, good for you, because it was every day.
That is a feat.
And it was literally from 7 days a week to 1.
Yeah.
Okay. For anybody that drinks every day would know how hard that is to not.
That's a grind.
It was Saturdays. Saturdays were my day to get wasted.
Was it extra on Saturdays now?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was like more than I needed before, because I wasn't drinking all week. Right.
Yeah. So now we're really getting at it.
Right. Well,
I got a whole week of drinking to do.
Yeah. I got to get caught up, man. I'm behind. Somebody in a meeting had said after I shared, I got it down to 1 day a week, and you know, I'm proud of myself because it was every day, and now it's only 1 day a week. And he literally goes, "Hi, I'm so and so alcoholic, blah blah blah. The only thing I need to say today," and he looks right at me and goes, "You come in here week after week expecting a pat on the back for you going out and drinking 1 day a week. How about you just stop?" Now, I get what he's saying now. Like, I get it. I just think he could have went about it a little differently, even still to this day, because as a newcomer, I didn't go for 4 or 5 months. I just stopped, and I was like, whatever. And I had maybe a month there I didn't drink, and then I was like, I'm not going to meetings. Maybe I don't have a problem. Went back out because I didn't need to be there, because I didn't need to go every week and tell them that I did drink today or last week, or you know, it made me feel like shit. Like I come here for the support. Granted, it's the same story week after week. But again, from somebody from 7 days a week down to 1 day a week.
Absolutely.
You know, it was the greatest feat I had ever done at that time, you know?
Yeah.
And then I got almost 5 months sober, and I said to my fiance after the meeting, I took my 5-month chip 2 days before.
Yeah.
2 days before the 5 months. I said, let's go out tonight. Oh, well, you can't do that. And we did. We did, because she was still drinking at the time, that like she wanted me to stop, but again, scared, nervous. I'm going to get angry if she says no.
Yeah.
So we went out and got so wasted. And I remember waking up in the morning going, are you kidding me? What did you do that for? Like, you're an idiot. But then, of course,
you were
it was
mad
that
at
morning
her?
of, no, me. I was mad at me.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and it was, but of course now after that morning, oh, I'm a dumbass.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gotta go to the liquor store. You know,
yeah.
So that was another like month or 2, 3, maybe even 6. I can't remember. I know it took me about a year and a half to like.
What finally did it?
Okay. So me and my band played our 5-year anniversary show. Now, to put it into context, my band turns 11 in like 4 days.
That's impressive, man. To hold a band together for that long, like that's awesome, man. Well done.
Well, thank you. It's been fun. The James Beaudry band. It's believe it or not, I'm James Beaudry. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a bad name, really. No, makes sense.
No,
practical.
I like it. It's sketchy. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's the alcoholic tendency in me. It's all about me, right? No.
Yeah. There you go. On display. There you go.
Yeah, right.
Maybe you should rename it the alcoholic tendency.
It should. So anyway, so me and the fiance go to the liquor store, right? 5-year anniversary show. I know I'm tying one on tonight. I'm gonna have a good time. Go buy the big bottle of tequila. Granted, it was the cheap stuff because, well, it was a cheap drunk. Why not? Well, actually, it was an expensive drunk if you took me on a date, but that's neither here nor there. So I get my cheap bottle of tequila, 24-pack of, I think it was Brava. And we go to the till. And I'll never forget this because it was almost like it was meant to be to some point. And the liquor store person didn't charge us for our case of beer. And I was thrilled. Are you kidding me? That was awesome. So we get to the venue, played our set. Fiance comes up to me, goes, okay, I'm ready to go home because we had tore down and we're all ready to go, basically. I said, no, I'm not ready. And she goes, really? Because she knew why I was kicking around, you know, and it was because I knew the cocaine was coming out. And she's like, no, I would just rather you come home. And I remember looking at her right in the eyes and I said, get home safe. I love you.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care. I knew what I was there to do. I knew that that's what I was doing that morning because it was so easily accessible where we were. And lots of people did it. So if I don't have to pay for it, let's do it. Yeah, exactly. Right. And so, yeah, I mean, it was, probably 11, 12, here it comes. And it wasn't until 8 in the morning we ran out and we're all like, oh, I got $20. Do you got any more money? Let's get a hold of someone, you know? And it was like,
trigger,
right? The second time in my life that I had literally felt like an addict. Because the first time we waited 3.5 hours for somebody to bring us cocaine. Now sitting there and going, where is he? Oh, is that it? No, that's not it. Oh, that's it. No, that's not it. My God. Holy crap. And that was the first time in my life I literally felt like an addict. Was waiting for that and then sitting around at 8 in the morning. Well, still high, but coming down now.
Yeah.
Not to mention, as it said in that intro video, I puked 3 or 4 times and every time was blood and it just kept getting darker and darker every time. So fast forward, come home. I ruined my life, my home life, because I want to say it was that night. I need your phone, babe, because my phone wasn't working for some reason. I'm sure it was that night. If not, it was a different night, but she'll correct me later. And of course I go through her phone. Why wouldn't I? You know, that's the faithful thing to do. What am I looking for? I don't know. Something to get mad about. Well, she says she opened up a message to some dude she's been friends with for 20 years.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh yeah, blah, 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 my man. And I'm like, your man? but I'm your boyfriend. I'm not your man. I'm your boy. Right?
Oh,
Stupid little
man.
things.
Here we go.
Right? That. Yeah. And I went and I woke her up and I started kicking the side of the bed. What the hell is this? And and I only vaguely remember that night, but I remember that part.
She
and
remembers.
then going to bed. Oh, I know she does. She says that she remembers the night differently than I do, which I would believe. We were talking about it yesterday. Mm-hmm. She goes, you know that your story is different than mine. And I go, yeah, I know. You know, but yeah, so I mean, came home, did all that. I slept the whole next day because of how drunk and high I was. Mm-hmm. So I woke up September 18th. I'm sure it was that day. And I went and looked at myself in the mirror. And I can use the camera as my focal point. I looked at myself like this and I went, I'm as white as a ghost, blue lips. Well, you know how people look when they look dead, or when they are dead, right? They're like white and pale and no actual skin color to it. That's what I looked like. Like I am surprised I didn't die. So I remember looking at myself because it had been almost a year and a bit of trying to get sober. And I looked at myself and I was like, you feel like shit. You had a drink of water this morning, you puked it up. Tried to have some dry toast this morning, you puked it up. So I figured this is going to be a long road of recovery because I'm not going to be able to actually keep anything down. What I figured probably a week, which ended up turning into almost a month. Very little bits of eating and shit like that. The recovery part, I would say, is the hardest part, but totally worth it. But yeah, and I told myself, like, do you want to live to see your 30th birthday, bud? If you don't, then go ahead, continue, and that's all fine. No, I want to because I want to see my kid grow up. I want to spend my life with my fiance. You know, I want to live my life, and I want to be happy and proud of the things I do. Not, hey, Dan, I'm so sorry about last night. I don't remember what I did, but I know I did something.
But
because
I know I'm sorry.
People told me I did something. Yeah. You know, and no, I didn't want to do that anymore. So I started going to meetings. And
so that was it. You started. What was different about it this time? I mean, you went in early
because I almost died.
You ran into some assholes that said some stupid things, right? So that was still your solution, though. Like when you were serious enough, when you got desperate enough, you know, as they say in the rooms, you know, you got that gift of desperation. You went back in. Was it hard to walk back in? No, because I knew people in the rooms already. There was a lot of kind people. And the person who had said what he said to me about, like, you come here week after week, blah, blah, blah. I didn't see him for 2 or 3 years, like into my sobriety now. And I remember I saw him at a meeting. Yeah, probably like a few years ago. Whenever, it doesn't really matter. But he looks at me and he knew that I recognized him. And he goes, you remember me? I said, yeah, hi. And shook his hand. Nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Oh, I thought for sure you'd still lose your shit on me. I said, oh, I want to, but it's not worth it. I did, 100%. I still wanted to tell you because you remembered the fact on what you said to me and that you were probably an asshole. He did apologize, but still stuck to, I would say it to anybody. Okay, well, I'm not here to tell you you're doing it wrong, but no, you don't do that to somebody who's new in recovery. No, I want to be there. And if they slip and they fall and they use again drugs, alcohol, sugar, whatever the case might be, I want to be there to pat them on the back, give them a hand, tell them it's going to be okay. We slip up. We're all human. We all have to learn, some quicker than others. And I mean, and that's what this is about. I mean, you're saying, I would say when I went back for the last time, per se, not last time, but you know what I mean, when I got sober. The current time.
Yes. Yeah. No, it was more comfortable. You know, I found a meeting I liked. That's the big thing, too. Lots of people, like, go to the same meetings every week, and they're like, oh, I really like this one. If you don't like it, find one that works for you then, please, because there are different meetings. I've been to meetings, I'll just use the term in the ghetto, that were the best meetings in the world that I had ever been to.
Yeah.
That, like, it was like, oh, okay, I might have a problem, but I don't have a problem, you know, because you saw you saw the bigger picture, if that makes sense,
yeah.
on like how far people are into their addiction.
And sometimes, sometimes we need. You said that you go to like 4 a year. I probably don't go to many more than that. I might go to 6 or 7. I used to go to 2 every day, and thank God they were there when I needed them. But
100%,
sometimes,
right?
like we go there and we'll hear something real grimy, and that'll remind us of something. But that gives us an opportunity to share where we're at too, to let other people know that this is possible, right? So
and that's what I was going to say. Is like the one thing, and I mean this goes for anybody watching, and I like to remind myself that is, if I have the thought, even remotely, even if I'm not feeling like, oh, I need a drink, if I go, I think I might need a meeting this week or maybe next week. Okay, well, I better go to a meeting because I'm thinking about it.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about it. I don't even care if it's the happiest day of my life and I just got married.
Yeah.
If I'm thinking about it, go, period. They're there, especially early on in recovery. The hardest thing I found, they're like 90 meetings in 90 days. It sounds intimidating. I didn't quite do that.
My ego was like, I'm going to do 180 and 90. And I did. I'm the best at recovery. And I was the guy that was like, if you don't do it this way, you're going to die. Like, I was that asshole I was that guy. So I'm going to say sorry to you because I was that guy, and my eyes have been opened. Like, I have been, like, the truth has been revealed to me that it's very much not like that. So anyways.
No, 100%, right. Well, no, then that's okay. I mean, yeah, and I get that. I can respect that because I mean, I've been there through my sobriety. I've had a lot of people reach out to me. How did you do it? And I'm like,
I don't know.
I got really fucked up, and and that's how I did it. Unfortunately, as silly as that might sound to some people, I just partied way too hard and woke up and realized I can't do this.
It got less painful to change than it did to stay the same.
Yeah, 100%. Exactly. And recently I almost slipped. Recently, almost 6 years in, I did. Long story short, the fiance bought me a Rod Stewart ticket because Cheap Trick was opening, and Cheap Trick is my bucket list band. I've always wanted to see them. So I'm thrilled. I get to go see Cheap Trick. Rod Stewart's the bonus, right? Cheap Trick ends. Of course, I cried like a big baby because my uncle had just died that week. So, emotions were high, and I cry at every concert I go to. Let's just be real. That's just the new thing now that I'm sober. I really feel the music.
Like Donna and I are going to a symphony. We're going to a symphony. Candlelight Symphony at that. I'm already preparing myself because I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to cry at some point.
He's been Windexing his monocle.
You weren't supposed to tell anyone about the monocle. So, anyways, hang on here. We got a comment coming in here. Let's look at a comment.
Yes, go ahead.
Clean and Sober Nation, thanks again for the super chat. Give them a follow on YouTube here. They're content creating over there. I had a look the other day. Check them out.
Awesome. And thanks for this comment. It says, I really value hearing recovery journeys that are diverse and transformational. Congrats, James. Sobriety looks good on you.
Yep. Thanks. It only looks good on me because he made me put my light there, but I appreciate it.
And use your good camera.
So anyway, Cheap Trick finishes. Cried like a baby, blah, blah, blah. There's nobody in the seats in front of me. So I'm like, okay, well, there's people right next to me, both ways. So I'm going to hop over. I'll walk this way, go get a pop. Because, well, you know how venues are. They're hot.
Yeah.
There's lots
and
of people.
Weird. It's weird to not have something in your hand.
I agree. Right?
Yeah, it is. So weird for me.
So I'm walking, just hitting the last seat. And what do? Nobody's standing there. I kick over somebody's beer. Full. And the alcoholic in me went, oh no, you're an asshole. And now I'm debating and I'm thinking, what do I do? So I get to the stand where there's pop and I'm like, get a pop, whatever kind. And I'm standing there going, now, do I buy this person a beer? Do I, or don't I? Or do I just go and take money out? But of course, all the ATMs, big lineup. So I'm like, well, I'm already here. To me, I mean, when I was a drinker, if you spilt my beer, Dan, damn right you're buying me a new one.
It's only fair.
Right?
I don't see a problem with that. Like legit, like even like me, if I did that to someone, I would be inclined,
Right? So
Yeah.
so I ordered it. I mean, granted, it was Coors Light, so he wasn't really missing much. No, I didn't. But
What if
so
you
I
got
bought
back
it.
and what if you got back there and he was like, there was cocaine in that beer too, by the way.
Yeah, right. I'd be like, oh God, sorry, let me lick it off the ground for you then. No.
Yeah.
So I buy this beer, I pick it up, and I'm like, oh my God, any recovering alcoholic will know. Remember that feeling of picking up an ice cold beer, like
Yeah.
it's sweating and it's in your hands, and you're like, oh my God. I mean, I don't want to describe it too much because I don't want to set people up.
Hey,
But
all good, man.
I mean, you get it. You remember
I
that.
do.
And it was
I'm visualizing right now, like the
Right?
frost on the condensation.
It felt so good.
Yeah.
Well, I would say you have no idea, but you get it. And I
do.
remember I'm holding my pop here,
Mhm.
and I'm holding not my beer, but I'm holding the beer here.
Mhm.
And I'm like, my first thought, ooh, that's nice and cold. Oh, no one's going to know if I have a sip. And I went, whoa, 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 like right away. I'm very, I would like to think I'm very self-aware on my thoughts that
Mhm.
when I know I'm going to do something wrong or I'm doing something or something, I'm very like, hey, don't do that, you know? But so the fact that had already gone in my head, and I started walking back to my seat, and I was like, oh no, what if I see someone I know? They're going to think I'm drinking.
Mhm.
And then I'm like, maybe I should go find a corner and I could have this beer. And that's just going through my head now. It's like, okay, no, James, you got to get back to your seat as quick as you can and get rid of this beer to who you bought it for.
Mhm.
Right. And so I did. The nice old man couldn't hear me because Rod Stewart had just started. Oh, I'm sorry. What? And I'm like, got you this beer for you because I kicked over your other one. I can't hear you. And I was like, okay, I'll go talk to your wife then. She goes, what's the problem? And I was like, I bought this beer for your husband. Assuming they were older couples. So, and she goes, oh, he doesn't need it. And I was like, I don't need it. He has to take it. Like, he has to have it. Like, I bought it for him. I can't have it.
This is not okay.
No, sweetheart. Just have it. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I can't. I'm here alone, and I just can't. I didn't tell her I'm an alcoholic because it doesn't matter at that point. I just can't have it. Yeah. And she goes, oh, well, then find someone else to have it. Now, I've misconstrued it the way I've told this story in meetings because I am a little ashamed.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what to do at that time. I thought to myself, well, go throw it in the garbage, James. Mm-hmm. But then I was like, well, that's a waste of $14.75 for a beer.
Uh-huh.
Sacrilege.
So what did I do? Yeah, exactly. Right. So I put it under my seat. And I thought about it, I say probably like half the show. I was like, there's a cold beer under my seat. You know, and that's where I say, like, I set myself up because I could have just went and thrown it away. I should have.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, I'm not going to do it anyways. You know, I'll just put it under there because it's a waste if I do. Well, it's a waste if you throw it away or put it in your seat anyways. Yeah. But of course, any good alcoholic or any addict, we have the best excuses for everything. And that's all that they are. We need to remember that. That's another thing I try to remember is that if I can come up with a good reason to use again or drink again, and a good reason, now not an excuse, but a reason, okay, go for it. But I never have because they're all damn good excuses. And that's what people need to remember is that every reason you can give yourself for having a drink, hoot, cocaine, it doesn't matter. It's just a really good excuse that you're going to tell yourself is okay and you're going to regret it. So just remember that they're excuses. So that concert was hard, is needless to say. I left early because that beer was there. Again, it didn't like necessarily bother me close to the end because I was like, oh, okay, well, Rod Stewart has 4 more songs, and I'm not a Rod Stewart fan. I like his music, but I mean, I'm not like, I didn't go there to see him. So I was like, hey, well, I'll leave early, beat the traffic, blah, blah, blah. I woke up the next day. That's where I was going with it. With a plan. The plan that I didn't even think of, technically. I just woke up and went, you know what? I think today
I beat it last night.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna go to the liquor store after work. Was my thought. Mm-hmm. First thing in the morning, 6 in the morning. Right. So like, no, have your coffee, relax, have your smoke, go to work.
Yeah.
No. And I remember I made a post on Facebook saying like, hey, I want to drink today. Like, and bad, not like a normal, hey, I want to have a drink. It's I want to get wasted today. So, of course, I have friends messaging me and telling me I do that. Lots of people don't understand that like I use my Facebook as an outlet for that. Not for attention, maybe sometimes, but you know, it's like people reach out to me because they know where I've been and you know, stuff like that. That it just, well, you get it. And then I got on the bus and I go to the very back. I sit down and there's an empty beer can, but I can smell it.
Oh.
And I can taste it. And like, not that I drank it, but I could, you know, right? And I could smell it, taste it. It's there.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, F you, world. Like, this is just a big game now. Now I'm mad at the world, you know, because how dare you know what I want to do? Right? You know? So I made it to work. And, that's what I was saying earlier. I do my best to hold myself accountable.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, then there's a good chance I'm going to slip up. So I went and talked to my buddy that I work with. And I said, hey, I know you give me a ride home every single day. I said, but I'm going to try to twist your arm today. I know I'm going to try to twist your arm.
Was it hard to tell him that? Were you fighting that?
No, because I knew I had to. Because if I didn't, I probably still would have came home. But if I had not like told anybody, 2 blocks away, not even, there's the liquor store. Yeah. And I mean, you know, but yeah, so I told him this and he's like, you want to drink? He goes, but you're sober. And I was like, no, I know, but I'm having a day. This is why I know what set me up to think this way. I need to hold myself accountable because if I don't, then I'm probably going to go and use tonight. I mean, there was a good chance that I was going to. I wouldn't say like that morning my mind was made up, but by that afternoon I was kind of like, I still really want to, but it's probably not a good idea, you know? And you know, and it's moments like that like where I, you know, I don't know, the first year was the hardest. Yeah. Like it is, I would say, for a lot of people. Yeah. But yes, it does get easier. And I hear that a lot. Oh, it gets so much easier the longer you're sober. Yes and no.
Well, I don't
because
know
you're
that
gonna
it gets...
have your moments.
So, and this is something that I may say more often than I realize, but it's like one of those things where it's like the roller coaster never really gets less wild. We just get better at riding it. Like we get stronger. 100%. We learn our lessons, you know, we gain wisdom as we go along through life's challenges, right? Yeah. So, and I think in that way, it may feel as though it's getting easier, and maybe that makes it easier. I don't know. Who am I to say? But you know, right? Like when we stop drinking, life's problems and challenges, they don't go away. You know, no. In fact, some would argue that they get harder because we have to be completely present for this fucking chaos.
Now you're, exactly, right, and that is a hard thing, you know. You know, and I mean, talking about like my fiance getting sober too. She's 4 years sober. My dad is 7 years sober.
Excellent.
This past April, so he's been a big supporter for me, you know, which has been good. I didn't necessarily listen to his advice because he's my dad. What does he know?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
But now I look back and I'm like, you know, whenever I need advice, I usually reach out to him or my mom or sometimes the wife. I'm sure you know how that goes. It's like, I want to talk to you about it, but I don't.
Yeah. If there's someone out there tonight that's going through something that you once did, is there anything that you would like to leave us with tonight? Is there anything you'd like to say?
Never be afraid to ask for the help. The resources are there, whether it's an AA meeting, NA meeting, whether it's just a therapist or a support group or anything, anything like that. The help is there. Reach out to me. I mean, I don't have all the answers, but I have some pretty good advice, I'd like to think. I mean,
where can people
6
find
years
you?
is a long time. You can find me on Facebook. James Beaudry Music is the best one to get a hold of me.
Can people find your music anywhere?
Yeah, you can find it on YouTube.
James, thanks for joining me tonight. It was great, man. Like, it was a great conversation. You know, I'm sort of poking fun at you here because we're going long, but truth be told, great conversation. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm going to let you go.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Take care, my friend.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, if you got something out of tonight's show, Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Turn on notifications. Give us a like. Leave us a comment. Share this live stream with a friend. Help us get our message out. We go live every Sunday evening, every Friday morning. You can find all our content all over YouTube or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts.